Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to the stream. I'm going to be painting up this robot, fighting this phallic dragon. As you all know, if you've been following along, we all fight that fight. How to stop this pleasure from taking us over. Wrestling with it. Alright. So, I'm actually pretty close to the end of this. Not a ton left to do. If I zoom out, you can see I've gone for a pretty saturated, rainbowy looking color comp for this. It's coming together, you know? We're so close. There's a couple little tangent things I gotta fix. But overall, I'm just going to be painting on top of this. That's really it. So, hang with me and we'll go over some like finishing touches. There's a couple things that like I'm not crazy about. One of them being this like space to the left of the robot. He's got this kind of empty spot where it's, I don't know, something needs to go there for framing purposes, whether it's like a tree or who knows. We'll figure it out together. Anyway, as always, if you have any questions, comments, anything at all, feel free to drop them in the chat and I'll read them as I go. But yeah, happy Galentine's, everybody. I'm exhausted. Spent today did hot yoga. Did this thing with my boys, my two boys. Basically, I'm just going like, anytime we get in trouble from now on, I go through the punishment with them, and we're just gonna be running hills and talking about what happened, which is I mean, maybe it's like a selfish kind of thing to do because I'm also trying to get in more cardio. But trying to instill a little bit of discipline in them. It's actually been a pretty nice deterrent, or just like, you know, nice way to get them to kind of hold on to whatever I was trying to teach them in the moment. It is wild though. Just being like, what's going to happen if we, you know, go ahead and do exactly what we're told not to do? And my kid's like, we're going to run hills. And I'm like, that's right. We're going to run hills. So that's been fun. Which essentially means that I've run the hill on our street like, how many times today did I run that? Like 4 times with the kids. Trying to make them learn, you know, the lesson through just, you know, get some fresh air, reset your mind a little bit, and get some exercise. You know, it wasn't making me mad because it's just funny, but like my son was like, "This is fun." And I was like, "Is it? Is it fun?" He's like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "Well, guess what? Now we're not doing the fun part of the hill." I was like, "I'm trying to make you sweat." Trying to make you remember why we're out here. Alright, that's where that is. Trying to paint in. Now that I have like my palette kind of figured out, I can start painting in some of the correct colors throughout. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. Painting in these jet engines here on everything. Make sure all this stuff pops the way I want it to, you know? Thanks, Daniel. Nicholas, I appreciate that. And welcome the pigs. Welcome, pigs from the pen. So nice to be here. Finally, towards the end of this big dumb painting, you know? Spend so much time on these things. I just want it to be done. Just want to be done. Yeah, I know, the saturated colors. I just wanted to push it to something a little weirder, you know? Not the most, like, obvious shit. I feel like this works. And now I just need to make all the lighting match up for everything. So they all feel like they're in the same space. This is like the boy. This is like the male equivalent of the whatever those old binders were. Whatever that lady's name was. And she drew like dolphins and stuff. This is like the little boy version of that from the 90s. Yeah, Lisa Frank. This is my Lisa Frank. You'd have been jealous of the kid who had this on their binder. Hey. That's the whole point of this, you know? Like, if I'm gonna paint anything, it's just spend my time doing something like this. I'm not like, I don't know. I'm not crazy about just doing random paintings for hours. It's fun to learn, you know? But if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna make stuff that I want to see, you know? Just things I wish existed. I'm just trying to do like my version of those. I mean, well, you can see it up on the screen, that like Gundam thing. It's like my version of that kind of work. I'm not trying to copy that stuff. I'm just trying to do my own thing. Obviously, mine's more like ridiculous and silly. So now that I know what I'm doing, I can figure out the rest. Like I had a bunch of like lighting on this because I couldn't tell how much light was emitting from that moon in the background. And now that I know, I can start to change up how all these like pig dudes are lit. I don't need them to be hard lit with all that backlight, since that moon falls into shadow and isn't so bright anymore. Yeah, there's a bunch of pigs with jetpacks. It's a very stupid painting. This is for nothing. For nobody. I'll have it up on my print shop. Well, my print shop. I'll have it up on InPrint whenever it's done. Which shouldn't be much longer. I'm right at the finish line for this. So, if you want this for yourself or like your kid's bedroom, it'll be up there. You can get a print. Would I ever do a stream with traditional materials? Like pencil sketches? I mean, I'm open to it. I've set that up before. I did a couple stream. I don't know if I did streams. I think I did videos like years ago of me drawing with pencil. I think I just need a good reason to do it. Like I'm not good at doing stuff for nothing. Like my way of like legitimizing doing this right now is being like, well, I'll make a print out of it, you know? Or I'll put it in a book collection of like I'm a fan of the 70s. There was like this era where there'd be like a bunch of books in the 70s where like fantasy artists just put out a collection of fantasy paintings of just nothing. And I collect those books. I have a bunch of them. And it's just like them world building, basically. I like those things, so I collect that stuff. And that's kind of what I'm doing with this. That's the purpose of like making these random paintings, is so I can put them in just some dumb art book collection. Like I have a bunch of like D&D inspired paintings and drawings that are gonna go into it. But this in particular is that, and if I'm doing like pencil sketches, I need like a reason to be doing them. I can't just do it to do it for nothing. Like I'll make bad drawings if I do that. I try to do that in the past and it always comes out shitty. So I need purpose for whatever I'm working on. So if I can think of a reason to do that, then that's not out of the question. I just need to figure out what that reason would be. Yeah, those fantasy sci-fi art books, they basically just say like, you know, it'll be called like space, and then it'll just be a bunch of space themed paintings. And they're just weird ideas that are, I guess, just meant to be like inspiring and cool, and that's it. I love that sort of thing. It's not like practical at all to do that sort of stuff, but who cares about being practical? You just have fun. There you go, donut. Any books come to mind in particular? I can't think of one that's like exemplary of that genre. There's a bunch. Man. If I think of one, I'll bring it up. Right now, nothing's coming to mind. I have a ton of them in my basement where like my kids' playroom is, because they just flip through them and they look at, you know, space monsters. Everything from that 70s shit is like always super phallic too. It's like these big, huge, like dick monsters with a bunch of eyes. It's very entertaining. They are good books. I just got this like Asgardian themed like fairy tale book in the mail for my kids. That was pretty sick. I was reading that to them tonight at dinner, or not tonight, this morning at breakfast. I think maybe I did read it at dinner. Doesn't matter. But it was cool. Got in the tradition of doing that. Have like 10 different fairy tale books from like all around the world next to the dinner table. Pick them up and read them. Chinese fairy tales, Norwegian. We got Aesop's Fables. Aesop's Fables, I guess I thought I had read them. I don't know why I like I I like make Aesop's fables and like the Canterbury Tales and like shit like that. I make them like one book in my head. I know they're not at all even remotely the same. I thought I had read them, and then I started reading Aesop's fables, and I was like, oh, this is all just like little stories, little moral stories and whatnot about animals and like relationships of animals and like little stories that happen between them. I was like, oh, this is not at all what I thought this book was. But yeah, my kids love that stuff. So I try and keep a bunch of like random books around the house for the boys to check out and get into. It's cool. But that Asgardian book is pretty sick. The illustrations in it are amazing. It cost me like $50. Antique one. How long does a painting like this take me? I have no idea. I haven't been paying attention to the time that this took. I've just been doing it. I just don't really bother, you know. I'm just doing the work. Just trying to get it done. You can kind of look back through my streams and see I have essentially worked on this thing almost entirely live. That's why the progress has taken so long. Because every other moment I have, I'm devoting to either comics or my work that I'm doing with the Diablo team. Which has been really fun. I'm just like continuing to work on all the season artwork for that game. Veil is one of the most beautiful comics you've ever read. Thanks. I appreciate that. Star Veil is going to be like a real story. Veil is kind of like a little... Veil is just like a little short thing for me, you know? Like I even saw people who were like, I don't even understand what you're saying in this comic. And I'm like, that's fine. To me, it's obvious what I'm saying. But that's because it's really just for me. A little short thing. And it was... When I started that comic, it was just like a test to see if I could go totally nuts on a short story and make the artwork stand out. It's like just, you know, leagues above anything I've done with comics up until that point. I just wanted to do something that was a big test, you know? And I was also thinking like, I want to do something that, you know, like not that I'm like against anybody, but there's like some rival in my head, right? They don't exist, but it's that thing of like, you ever watch like that Michael Jordan documentary, Chicago Bulls, The Last Dance? You ever watch that? It's like, you know how he just makes up like that people were talking shit about him? I kind of do that. So in my head, I have like this idea in my head that I'm going to take him into deep water, you know. I'm going to go somewhere with this thing that nobody can follow. Nobody's going to put in the amount of work that I'm going to put in. And I want to show what that would look like. And that's not to say that that's true. You know, there's meta barons, there's a bunch of stuff that's crazy. But that's what I think in my head. I'm like, nobody's going to be able to follow the type of art this is again. And that's like the the story that's in my head when I'm working on that stuff. Just do something nobody else is willing to do and make it stand out. I still try to apply that to like even dumb comics. Like I talked to Akira Yoshida, who's working on that Miss Lasagna series. Even he thinks like that on something that silly, you know? Which of course is available on the Matt and Shane Secret Podcast Patreon. Okay. He sounds like quite an inspiration to me. He is, you know, just going out there and doing something, just being totally unashamed of yourself. Even, you know, amidst death threats, still pursuing your craft. I just think it's admirable. That's all I'm saying. I just think it's straight up courageous. Taking a bullet for what you believe in. It's pretty cool. Man. This part of the painting process is alright. Now that I'm close to the end. Did some loser actually do death threats over that? Come on. When it comes to great art, it just comes with the territory, baby. It's just what it is. Death threats are just a part of the game. When you're doing something new, people can't handle it. They go, I want to kill him. You know? And you go, hold on. Not yet. That's like me at the end of Gladiator, burying a little G.I. Joe in the Coliseum. Not yet. Not yet. Not till I'm done. I don't know, bad done well. All right. Yeah, it's true, Anthony. I mean, Nicholas DeLuca. I don't know why I said Anthony. Yeah, I hope Akira stays healthy through all this and finishes his series. I heard rumblings that much like what's that one with the samurai? really good one, Vagabond. Much like Vagabond, Akira Yoshida might decide to switch the whole game up and do a wheelchair basketball manga. Who knows? Who knows what's in the cards? Wheelchair basketball manga, though, you never know. Unexpected hit with a heart. If you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, that's a real thing. And the wheelchair basketball manga rules, so you should check it out. I cannot remember the name of it. It's been a long time since I looked at it. But I heard him talking about how... what's his name? Dude who did Vagabond? Inui? Well, anyway, I heard him talking about why he stopped working on Vagabond, because the basketball manga was just like, it wasn't the same kind of work. I totally get that. That's sort of how I feel with like Steve Lichtman. So like, yeah, everything else is like pretty intense that I want to do, and then Steve Lichtman's like eating popcorn. I'm just kind of chilling. How do you find good brushes? How do you find good brushes? Greg Rutkowski makes good brushes. I was like obsessed with finding good brushes for a while, and I barely found any good ones. I think Greg's are the best. I like his latest set. They're really good. I like that watercolor brush one still. It's like one of my favorites that I use all the time in Clip Studio. That's the one that's on like my Patreon and stuff. It's in Japanese. I can't even tell you how to find it because I don't read kanji. So that's why it's on my Patreon. I don't even know how to point you in the direction. You can just download it there. But that's a great one. And then I like obviously the one in Krita, if you've watched me work in Krita. But I don't need a ton of wild brushes. I'm all right with just sticking to a couple that work. I need to move on this thing. I need this to be done. I can't keep working on this thumb painting. Driving me crazy. This just has to be done. I don't even care. It's just gonna look however it looks, you know? Doesn't need to be anything special. Doesn't need to change my portfolio. I don't care. Just needs to exist. Please just exist.
The dust begins to swarm all around.
Need to lose a lot of edges. Need to imply a bunch of stuff. Nothing needs to be perfect. Just go. Just make stuff. Let's go. Oh, you new music. Oh boy. Would Michael Jordan phone in a game? I think not. When it comes to comics, I'm not going to phone it in. A painting, though, I don't have the same attachment. Unless it's for something. If I was working on like a project and this was like Black Witch or something like that, whatever, something I'm working on, right? Then I would say, you're right. Leave it all. Leave it all in the field. But this is a pig with a gun, you know? With a jetpack. I think it's pretty good. What it is. You get to a point where you can't even see what I'm changing. I'm just more or less like texturing over a lot of this painterly brush strokes down here that feel a little too crisp. I don't want them to feel like they're drawing your eye away from the main focus. That's really it. So if it looks like I'm just scribbling around and nothing's changing, I promise you it's changing. It's just I'm at the imperceptible little minor adjustments stage where you can't really tell every little bit of what's happening. It's just gut stuff, you know? Just going with your gut. Just painting up these textures to make them not look so sharp that they pull your eye away from what I want you to see. What canvas size is this? Gosh, I don't know. It's like 10,000 by something. Maybe bigger than that, maybe smaller than that. Who knows? Only I know, and I'm not willing to look right now. Do I paint textures in with a unique brush? Yeah, kind of. I mean, this is a Greg Rutkowski brush I'm using right now in Photoshop. I'm just doing a lot of like my minor adjustments in here. Okay, that's fine. Alright, now I need to do something else, foreground over here. And once that's there, we'll be in a pretty good spot. I don't think it'll be done, but close. Should have chosen a simple tree. Well, trees. I should have chosen like pines or something. Those are always easy to paint. I guess it's not too late to do pines. Now that I've kind of, I like went back through and made the trees a little less distinct, painting them out. I was going to do a lot more debris, a lot more detritus. Some $10 words. But probably not. Quality over quantity, right? What if quality takes too much time and quantity makes an artist miserable? Is the only answer just to keep at it until one day they get fast enough? I mean, honestly, yeah, like, let me just say, the idea that like there's going to be zero pain in what we're doing is ridiculous. Anything that you want to be great at, you're going to feel pain in the process of getting to some point that is, you know, of some measure of quality, right? Like, that's just inherent in becoming good at anything that you want to do. It's definitely not going to be something you can just kind of smile your way into. You're going to be kind of painfully slugging through, trying to get to the finish line, you know, or not a finish line, but just trying to get somewhere where you feel good about what you're doing. There is no super happy, I just, you know, love every step of this in anything. I don't complain about what I'm doing because I think it's a great job. I like what I do, and I think that there's, you know, because I like it, it's fine to suffer through it. You know, like that's fine. Like, I wouldn't want to, like, I wouldn't be like, God, I gotta make it to the fucking, you know, the MLB. I gotta be in the major leagues of baseball, like, and then be like, but I fucking hate baseball, and then train every single day no matter what. I like just, you know, try and become a professional baseball player. Like, yeah, obviously that stuff fucking would suck. So it's like, yeah, it's hard to complain about how hard it is to make it as an artist, because it is still the thing that you want to do. So even when you're having hard times in it, it's still cool, you know, but it's definitely not easy. I like me saying that stuff over this stupid music. Makes me seem like I'm trying to edit one of those reels. One of those dorks talking about, you don't give up, you just keep going. Your penis is your own worst enemy. Don't even look at it. Don't touch it. Don't even smile at it. Thanks, Nick. Okay. The talk I had with Marco was brutal to you. Really got it through my skull that I need to actually make something. Yeah, I think like if anything was a wake-up call to that sort of thing, it was the AI shit. I mean, that's only if you actually have something you want to make, though. Like, don't take this advice and be like, oh no, now I need to come up with something. But if you're a person and you're trying to figure out like, how do I compete in a world full of AI, you have to stick to you as a person. Like, what are your experiences in life? What are the things that make you you? And use that stuff to make stories, make comics, make animations, do whatever. Something to differentiate yourself and do something that only really you can do with who you are. Like, that's the stuff that's going to survive all of this. Like, all of, like, you know, work like I'm doing right here. It's like, it's fine. But this isn't the kind of thing that's going to potentially, you know, make it through all this AI shit. Like me doing my own comics and all that, that's going to be the thing that gives me some potential longevity if I can commit and do all that. I just finished reading this book called The Fisherman. It's pretty good. If you're into like kind of spooky, real life like horror stuff with a bit of supernatural, it's pretty good. Just finished it last night. It's not the best thing I ever read, but I liked it. I think I liked it a little more than Between Two Fires, which a lot of people recommended to me. By who? Good question. I can't remember his name. I mean, you can probably find it. It's The Fisherman. It's by like Word Horde or something like that. They're the publishers. I bought it on Amazon. Yeah, I've read Annihilation. That's good. I read that. I read what all the is the book called Stalker? I think the book is called Stalker. I was gonna say what all like the Zone stuff was about from what the game's based off, that Stalker game. I like that book a lot. That was weird. Or is that the right? No, that one's God, what the fuck is it called? It's like the roadside picnic one. Is that what it's called? Yeah, John Langan, that's it. That's the fisherman author. But roadside picnic? No, not Metro. I know I've read the Metro books, or one of or two of them or something like that. They're okay. I mean, that's my own opinion. A lot of people like them obviously, but I wasn't crazy about it. Roadside Picnic though was really good. It's an old book. When can I be done with this fucking thing? Help. Three Body Problem Trilogy was the last thing you read that completely blew your mind, especially book 2 and 3. Yeah, that's one of those books that I feel like I'd have to actually read the book itself, because I got the audiobook and I tried like listening to the Three Body Problem, but while I was like working and all, I don't know, I couldn't really get into it. So I think it's just one of those books I actually have to sit and read it and not listen to it. I mostly any book that I'm gonna read, I'll read it. I'm not just gonna listen to the audiobook. But that was one where I tried and I was like, nope. Yeah, I'll never judge a book based on its I'll never judge a book by its Netflix adaptation. That's for sure. Hey, Kimmy. Can you come look at this? I'm on the stream.
I was just making the bread again.
Does this look like anything?
Yeah, it looks good. I like it. I like the colors that you chose for the sky. That was basically all that was left in the rockets, right?
Yeah, don't know if there's anything I want to do for it. I feel like it's just fine.
What else would you
I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else I would do really. It's not like I want to add anything.
You can make like balls right here, so it really looks more.
I could do Dragon Balls. You're right.
You can have some fireworks going off in the background.
Like the Ewoks are celebrating. The Ewoks are celebrating their independence from porn. That's a good idea. Yeah, it's hard because I don't really... I think like I get to a stage in a painting where I don't really care what it looks like that much. Like I never feel like, ooh, this is my baby. I don't want to fuck it up. Not for something like this, at least. So I'm just kind of looking at it going like, I don't know. It's fine. You saw one of my Diablo 4 paintings on Kotaku earlier today? Cool. I mean, it probably was mine. I do a ton of paintings for them. I've been working on that game for, I don't know, over a year. Well over a year, actually. I forgot I was working on it in our last place that we lived. I just am basically wrapping another one up for them right now, which I feel fairly good about. Is this cool? Does this work? I don't know. It's just fine. Like, I wish I wanted to make it look crazier, but I don't. I think like at some point in a lot of these paintings, I think there's really not a whole lot for me to do unless I went back to the very beginning and redid the whole drawing or something. Because this was just like a one-off, really simple idea that was just a quick little sketch. I didn't really even have a plan for it. I was just winging it. And now here I am. Here I am. However long into this, and it's basically done now. Yeah, I don't mind that the painting's busy. It's kind of what I wanted. I just wanted it to be like this weird thing. Like old school looking painting with a ton of details and all that. Darkness up here in the corner. Well, I think I got it too dark. My computer's like, how many brush strokes did you just do with that huge brush? I hate it. Is painting the details the longest part of the process? Sometimes I get impatient and feel guilty for taking plenty of time when I could do more work if I could render faster. No. The drawing's probably the longest bit. Painting is time consuming, but it's nothing too time consuming. Not compared to actually like getting everything in place. This is so stupid. Yeah, I don't really want to work on this anymore, so I think I'm going to call it. Hey, and look, we finished right at the time for the stream. That's exciting. Alright, so the next thing I'll do, which I generally do with everything, is just I'll let it sit overnight, you know? And then if I wake up tomorrow and I feel like it works, I'll just call it done. But I never let my like impatience to just have something be done dictate like the final whatever of a piece and then just put it out and be like goodbye. That's always a mistake, generally speaking. But I'll let it sit and I'll be like, is there anything else I actually want to do with this? And if there is, I'll do that. All right. Thanks everybody for hanging out, watching me paint this up. This is definitely going to be the last time I ever work on this on stream. Let's get a big old look at it. It's the top. There you go. Thanks everybody. And I will talk to you next time. Appreciate you. Have a good night.